welcome to another episode of the Talking with Top podcast, where I'm your host, Tark Carter, and I talk to extraordinary people who are making a difference in their community. Today's episode is sponsored by 93 Michi Beats. Forget your producer, my beats are made by Michi. Today on the show, we have as our special guest, Tyrone Betters. Tyrone is a model turned actor, and he's here to tell about his journey. Hey, Tyrone,
Hello, what's going on?
how's it going?
Everything is fantastic. Thank you.
Thanks for supporting our podcast. It's great to have you. So, Tyrone, let's jump right in. Well, first, I'm sorry. Let me get you to introduce yourself. Even though I told what you do, I just like you to go ahead and introduce yourself.
Gentlemen, my name is Tyrone Betters. I am an actor and model based out of Dallas, Texas. I am born and bred from here. I do everything acting, modeling. I eat, sleep, and breathe this, and I'm just excited to share my journey with you all today.
All right, awesome, awesome. So, how did you get into modeling?
Funny. I actually started modeling when I was a freshman in college. So back in fall 2008, I was a freshman on the campus of Georgia Southern University, still trying to figure my way out. Auditioned for a fashion show, and I was horrible at first. But with the training and us practicing all the time, I actually ended up becoming very good, and I just knew it was what I wanted to do, and I've been doing it ever since.
Okay, all right. So, how did you transition into acting?
Well, so I was on a journey for about 4 years, and a mentor of mine that I picked up by the name of Willie Johnson. As I was moving forward into my career, a mentor of mine just really told me to get into the commercial broadcast acting lane, and he just said it would be good for you. Now, in my mind, I just want to be a high runway fashion model, but I am 5'7". I'm sorry, not 5'7". I am 5'9". And it was definitely like not being able to fit into sample sizes on the industry standard when it comes to runway high fashion modeling. And I said, you know what, why not? So I purchased my first acting class, commercial introduction to commercial acting back in fall of 2012. So I just graduated spring 12, and fall of 2012, I got into my first class when I moved back home, and that transition into acting, it just continued to evolve ever since. So now I'm about 14 years in modeling and 10 years in of acting.
Okay, and I heard you say you graduated. So, what did you get your degree in?
I got my degree in business management, entrepreneurship, but knowing what I know now, I would have changed my major to theater, fine arts.
Yeah, I can see that. Okay, so that kind of goes into my next question. Do you believe that? I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to put my glasses on for this. I'm just trying to do it without. Okay, so do you believe that talent or training is more important to an actor?
Um, I think training is more important. A lot of I developed. I wasn't naturally good at acting. It took me time to get better with the proper preparation. I had to go to the acting classes. I had to invest in myself and go to the intensives and the pop-up workshops from time to time. I had to be in these student films and smaller productions to continuously learn. I did the background work. I've done the stand-in work on high budget profile project stuff. So a lot of that is just on the go training and also investing and putting that money into your classes, into your headshots and stuff. So it's a lot of talented people out here. It's a lot of people that sometimes they just have the God given ability, but you can't just bank on the talent. You talent without the proper work ethic or the proper level of skill, it won't last. It really won't. It's a lot of people that try to make it out here on just talent alone, and it's very, very seldom you'll see a lot of people flourish with just talent. You have to have the work ethic. You have to put the work in, And that's not just in being an actor or a model, that's being in anything, any craft that you can name. If you're not putting the time, the proper amount of time in to perfect your craft, it's very seldom you're going to be successful in it.
I agree. Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, so one of the other things I was going to ask you is, I'm sorry, I mean, I'm struggling to find one of my glasses here. Um, okay, so what is your inspiration for your latest role, and tell us what is your latest project?
Awesome. So the latest role that we just wrapped on is called Code. It pretty much follows the life of a young kid growing up in Dallas, Texas, becoming a rapper, a rap superstar. And I play the character by the name of Malik Schaefer, aka Code, with my best friend Styles, and he's played by my guy Tony Williams. And it's a really strong cast, fully from Dallas based. The production team is from Dallas, and we actually have a distribution through Maverick Movies, Maverick Entertainment. And what really drew me to it was one, just his style. I think Code is someone that's like he's kind of um misunderstood, and he's just continuously finding his way. And it's just something that's it pretty much just works for him, and figuring out the things that he needs to figure out within his lifestyle. So he does goes through a lot of ebbs and flows, and just trying to put it all together just so that he can be the best rapper that he can be.
Okay. And I did see you in one of your commercials today. I saw you. That was the little Patty. That was funny to me.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I actually shot that one maybe 2 years ago. So 2021. No, actually, I'm sorry. It was at the top of 2022. So we shot that at the top of 2022, and it's pretty cool. So I do have a pretty extensive commercial resume. I've done a lot of commercials.
Okay, that goes into our next question. Do people recognize you in public?
From time to time. Now, majority of the time, it's family, friends. They'll hit me up on Facebook, or they'll hit me up on any social media platform, and be like, Tyrone, I think I just saw your commercial. I think I just saw your commercial. I have yet to be recognized by just walking around and people noticing me. But I plan that that's probably gonna change by next year. It'll probably change. I definitely have a lot of projects that are in the works. I have a lot of projects that are in post production, getting ready to be released in the fourth quarter. So I have about 4 or 5 projects that'll be dropping within a 3 month span.
Well, you are definitely branding yourself very well because I mean, I saw a lot of your stuff as I was, just researching you and stuff. So, absolutely.
Fantastic.
So now I read this. I read
Mhm.
that being an actor can be very selfish, can be a very selfish profession. So I'm asking, how do you make sure you maintain healthy relationships despite this?
Um, I at work, I'm at work. When I'm not at work, I'm not at work. So pretty much, I understand what it takes for my career. If I'm not filming, if I'm not auditioning, or if I'm not doing anything pertaining to the craft, I just spend time with my daughter, spend time with my girlfriend, my family, what we're building. Go out and just have free time from time to time. But my escape is actually the weight room. I live maybe 6 times out the week. I try to rest. I try to rest 2 days, so I go 5 to 6 days working out, and then 2 days rest. But sometimes even on my rest days, I'm still getting some type of cardio, getting some type of work in. It just kind of just keeps me centered, and just allows me to just continuously stay in shape, as well as just that's is really I would really call it my sanctuary. It's like where I'm with my thoughts, and I'm planning things out, and I'm manifesting when I'm in the weight room and different things like that. So the weight room is definitely something, and then even on the relationship side, just garnering my friendships, the people that I'm closest with, reaching out to them, make sure they're good, probably go out, have a drink or two, and just really relax. These last 2 months, 2 to 3 months, I've just really been home. I really been home. I really been being intentional with my daughter, make sure I'm being the best dad that I can be. Um, and just kind of separating work from life.
Okay. That's awesome. So have you always been they call y'all who love to go to the gym rat. So have you always been that, or is this something that you started
Uh,
just because of modeling in the
I would
back?
say on and off, on and off. I went through like I want to say a rough patch mentally in like 2016, 2017.
Hmm.
And I kind of just lost my way. I stopped lifting. I was eating a whole bunch of junk. I got the biggest I was at that time. I've been bigger now since then, but it's more muscle. But all of it went to my stomach, and I just was not in a good space. But I understood where I wanted to be. I had the vision that God gave me, and I just kind of went. As soon as I went 10 toes in on being this actor, model, this brand entity, I said I gotta look the part. So that's when I hopped in the gym. I've been with Planet Fitness since 2017. So my the years have stacked up, and then of course I've joined other gyms since then. But I just continuously stay focused on that. And so from time to I also have another outlet that I do. I do men's physique bodybuilding. I've competed twice. I do plan on competing this year, but I'm probably gonna push the date back to when I compete because I want to come in the best shape that I could be.
Okay, you know what? I have a friend out in Vegas who he is getting ready. He's training right now
Uh-huh.
to compete, and he's older than you. And I sent him a message recently, and I was just like, okay, go out there and make some videos and do that because for his age, he's 55, but his body is together. And I'm like, go do something with that. He's just like, okay, I don't know.
Hey, it's fun. It's really fun. It's different just seeing your body transform when you're eating your diet, eating your food. So I'm eating food constantly, trying to drink as much water as possible. I'm getting my cardio in, making sure I'm getting my counts in. So it's very about discipline. Now, right now I can't say that right now I can say that I still eat my snacks and stuff from time to time, but I'm definitely gonna be pushing it back, but I'm still staying consistent with my diet as far as just eating the foods I'm supposed to be
Yeah, that's one of the things that I'm wanting to do as I'm getting older. I keep telling everybody I want a gym booty, so
eating.
that's on my list to do is to develop a gym booty. So yeah.
I got that. Yeah, it's it. You can do it. It's just that discipline part, just that discipline, putting the work, and the work is really in the food. It's in the kitchen. It's
Yeah.
definitely what you eat, how you eat, and at
I
a
eat pretty
consistency.
decent, but then I have my moments where I eat something I probably shouldn't. I think with me, I do exercise a lot because I walk a lot, but I just got to do the toning part. So that's something that I want to incorporate into my life.
That's a lot. That's weightlifting. That's like more heavier weights. So it's a stigma that women don't want to lift heavy weights because they don't want to look manly, but you don't. But if you don't do that stuff, you're not going to see the results that you really want to see.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna give it a try. I'll keep you posted.
Awesome.
All right. So let's see here. Oh, we're running through these questions so fast. Like, oh my goodness. Right. So, okay. So well, we already kind of got a little bit personal, but let tell everybody because I noticed that you are a part of the Divine Nine. So tell everybody what fraternity you represent.
What's going on? So if you can see my tag, it says Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated, Crimson Cream Boys. Um, yeah, Kappa Alpha Psi, Phi Nu Pi to the day I die. So I am a noob. I pledged back in 2011, Centennial, Spring 11, Georgia Southern University, Omicron Phi. So I love his tatted on my chest.
Okay, you answered all the questions I was going to ask you too, because I was going to ask where you crossed over. So let me. Okay, so how has your experience been like once you got into the organization? How has that?
Oh man, like you know, 20 2011 is still it's like 13 years ago. So not 13, about 12 years ago. So it was intense. My experience was intense when I was going through and doing whatever, but when I got on the other side and just understood the brotherhood that came with it, it was everything. So with me, I pledged as a junior. I graduated my senior year, and then I moved back to Texas. And so a lot of the guys that were in Texas when I met, man, we're some of the closest friends now. Cause I've been knowing them for like 10 years, 10 plus years, just as long as my LBs. So a lot of times I'm a little bit closer with my guys out here. All my brothers on my line and stuff, they're all back in Georgia. Got a couple that live sporadically throughout the city. Well, one of them stays in Tampa. Um, but yeah, just the brotherhood. My father is a Nuke as well. He plays back in '92, and the brotherhood just always been amazing. It's always been a person you meet here, a person you meet there, networking here, networking there, and I'm really big on just being a good brother to your brother. So if that means to support an event, that means to pull up on something if you have the time. That means to be an ear for a brother that needs one, to be a shoulder for a brother that needs one. Like I'm very big on that aspect of brotherhood. I know it's a lot of people that's big on information, which is cool. I understand the information part, but being a brother is truly means that being a brother to me.
Absolutely. One of my closest friend is Anoop as well. Jonathan White. He pledged Miles back in, I want to say he pledged in 1982. So shout out to Jonathan.
Awesome.
Yeah, so as you can see, these ivies back here give you a little.
Uh-huh. I already know it.
You
I'm
know,
already
I pledged when I was an adult. I pledged back in 2015. I
okay.
went to school in 2014 because I always said that if I ever went back to school, I was going to pledge AKA. So life happened, and I was, in a position where I needed to reinvent myself. So I understood when you said that earlier. I remember losing a job after so many years and things like that. And so I was just like, okay, what I'm gonna do? I need a degree, and I went back. And so
Mm-hmm.
I went to Miles as well. So I am an HBCU graduate.
Awesome.
And I pledged, and it was just so amazing. So I was, as they say, Gamma Pi made. So shout out to my sorority sisters.
That's it. I enjoyed my undergrad experience. I understand it's a lot of people that's coming through alumni and stuff, which is still good as well. But it's just a different feeling when you an undergrad, you're a little bit younger, and you experience it, and then understanding when you leave, and then have the opportunity to go back to school and still decide to play. That's a whole nother experience too, because you're pretty much older than everybody that's there.
Yeah,
So
I won't
that could
on my line though.
Oh, crazy. That's dope though.
Yeah, but I do have a sorority sister who I think she pledged at, mm, I think 63 undergrad.
Oh wow.
At Miles as well. Yeah, and that's another thing. I met some amazing ladies. I mean, like, I have some real good sorority sisters. I really do. And I could just think of them right now, like whether I pledged with them or just met them. So I love the whole organization and all of that.
Exactly. And then even my best friend is actually an alpha. And so I just remember before he pledged, so I pledged a year before him. So before he crossed, we had went out of town to FAMU and had a ball. But I was the only one that was Greek, so I had my K with me and everything. So it was pretty. It was just fun, like just the experience, and then from there all the way to now. Some of my closest frat brothers are just doing amazing thing. I've met frat brothers that are in the industry. One a good frat brother of mine, Keith Carlos. He was America's Next Top Model. He the first male winner. So was funny. I met him on another competition we did in 2011. The year I crossed, I had became a finalist in the Crave magazine cover model search, and that's when I met him. The owner of Crave is also a noob. So it's just been just seeing Kappa Noops all in the industry, and we're all over the industry. Writers, directors, models, designers, stylists, like it's everywhere.
That's good. So it's plenty opportunities to network within.
Absolutely, absolutely. For people that's people that's open to it, sometimes there's different individuals that don't like meeting new people, or don't like meeting new brothers and stuff. Well, I don't blame them for it because I have a hard time myself. I have a hard time like asking or reaching out to brothers that I don't know. So I have to be introduced to people.
Right.
It's not that I don't know how to network. It's just when it comes to like Greek life, everybody
Mhm.
moves different. Everybody doesn't move the same.
Right. I see that. Okay, so we'll get back to acting. So what advice would you give someone else who want to do what you do? How would you so give my audience some advice on how to get there
Okay,
like that.
number one is do your research. Do your research. Don't ask somebody about anything without doing your own research. See what's out there. See what's in your city. Every city is different. Dallas is not the same as Atlanta. So the opportunities are going to be different and so on and so forth. But do your research. Two, get into a class. You want to get into two classes. You do an acting intensive class that teaches you about acting, the different methods of finding a method that you could train in, and then another class is getting to a scene study class where you're working on scenes, you're breaking down scenes, and you are also implementing and going back and forth with a partner. You want to do both because one helps you with your technical information, and another one helps you implement and actually use those things in these scenes that you're learning. Um, get a great headshots. You want to find the best headshots. You want to get industry standard headshots. What does that mean? If I go to an agency and I look at their board and see what their talent looks like, my headshot has to look like what the talent looks like,
Mhm.
right? And there's plenty of different people always able to network with me. We can find the ones that's in your city that can do some great things, and so on and so forth. Um, rem- uh, uh, um, be mindful of who you ask for information from. Make sure it's a quality source. I tell people all the time, check the fact checkers. What do I mean by that? Check the people and check their resume. If they're giving out information about being an actor and all they ever done is background work, I wouldn't pay to listen to them. Just being honest. Now maybe if I'm just looking to be a background actor, then okay, I can see that. But they've never been a lead, they've never been in front of the camera, they never read lines. Like when you start asking these different questions about how to get in the game,
Mhm.
I would ask somebody that's literally in the game. The
Right.
thing about me is, I get that a lot of people don't know me, but if you go check the resume or if you just go check my pages, you're gonna see my work. And then it's like he did this commercial, this commercial, this commercial, this commercial, this commercial, this commercial. I've probably done over 40 commercials easy.
Okay.
And so in that, I have a certain amount of information about getting recognized and how do you separate yourself from the pack, right? It's all about standing out. And always be mindful of who you asking advice from or taking advice from. Always be mindful of that. Remain a student. Always be willing to learn. Always be willing to listen. Always be willing to just try something different because the moment you think that you know it all, you're done, right? Stagnation, it happens because I'm good. Oh, I know this, I know that. You can never not know enough. And it's always something that you can learn. You're always something you can improve. And that's what allowed me to be successful is I've always remained a student throughout all the years that I've done it. I've always had that mindset that I'm just not there yet. I have more to learn. I have more to grow. I have more. And as that come, the standards and stages started changing. And as the standards and stages started changing, I have to get bigger. I have to perform bigger. I have to meet where they at. and that's just by remaining a student. Um, those ones are free. So if you want any more information, you can book me. You can book a consultation with me. Just hit my DM. You can email me at tyronebetters@gmail.com. Let's get your foundation started. I'm big on foundation. The word foundation. In it you cannot build a house without being on a solid foundation. A lot of times people run to start things, but they don't do the adequate information check. You have to figure out what it is that you're trying to do. I want to be on power. Okay. Well, as soon as you start, you're not qualified or ready to be on power. Now, what makes people think otherwise when they book Young Miami? But at the same time, Young Miami had to become Young Miami to even get that opportunity.
Right.
Two, you have to focus on you and your skill set. You'll be hard pressed to start anything and all of a sudden you finna start getting speaking role. It does not work like that. It is a game. It is something that you have to continue to build. It's a craft that you have to continue to grow in. And when you're not doing that and you're staying stagnant and you're not listening to the qualities that I'm telling you that you need to have or the things that you need to have to implement what you're trying to do, you're not going to be successful at all, not even remotely.
And that's with anything. It don't
That's for
even.
anything. And again, I speak on principles. And what I mean by principles is a principle, whatever the craft is or whatever the scenario changes, but the principle does not change. The principle is what it is, right? If you do not do the work in welding, if you don't prepare yourself in welding, you're not going to be a good welder. When you're running a podcast, if you don't understand the intricacies of the mics to use, of the camera angles, of all these different things, you're not going to have a successful podcast. All of these things you are interchangeable because every craft is different, but the principle is the same. Do the work, execute at the highest level, grow, and remain a student.
Right. And thank you for that. Because I do need to get more into some other things that I haven't tapped into yet. So,
Absolutely. Absolutely. And a lot of times, I don't, sometimes a lot of podcast information stuff, because I've been looking to get on more podcasts, so more information on podcasts been popping up. And they're usually having roundtable discussion. How do we make our podcast better? The podcast group that we're in, those type of things, and that's how you pick brains. You got to just pick brains of the individuals that's doing it and doing it on a high level.
right,
So if I want to be a commercial actor, I'm not going to go to somebody that's never done a commercial before. I
right.
would probably go to somebody that does commercials frequently, and I do commercials frequently because the information they can give you is only from a certain standpoint. They've never done it
You're right. Absolutely. And I'm listening. I'm taking, and I've been making some adjustments, but there is still some room for improvement in,
There's
just
always room for improvement. And even when you are good, there's still room for improvement. It's a never ending battle of being the best that I can be, fulfilling myself to the fullest extent of my ability. And until you reach that, you are always going to be continuously trying to reach that, continue to evolve, continue to do things that is going to push you to be greater and greater each day.
well, I definitely admire your work ethic. I mean, from the time that I reached out to you, I mean, just how you respond back, it has always been so professional and follow up. And I love that because I can tell when a person is going to actually show up and, because of the way that they communicate with me. And you've been 100, and I've had some more people that, follow up that too. But I remember I had this one girl, she had a lot of followers. And I was just like, oh, wow, because she had 76,000 followers. So I was just getting so excited because I was just like, oh, this is a good opportunity. But then when I went to have the interview, her phone was off. And I was like, and then when I went through her page, not talking about her, but it was just, I could just tell it wasn't. So it's like, it don't matter for a person to have a big following if they're not doing X, Y, Z. So I learned that too. And then also too, it wasn't, I noticed that some of our interaction wasn't professional. I would say, okay, we're gonna, do a call. And then they kept pushing me back. Like, I was like, okay, you want to get on a call today so we can kind of go through what we're going to talk about? And it was like, oh, we could just do it tomorrow. And I was just kind of like, that ain't how I do it. And so right then I should have stopped myself, but I had to learn that. I had to learn that whenever you see little things like that, this probably not going to go right. And so,
Absolutely.
and now I know that. So I already know how it goes. If that communication ain't going right, then I'm kind of thinking like, I don't even know if this going,
Nah,
so
you're absolutely right. The communication is everything. I'm big on communication. Let me know what's going on. If something is messed up or something not going right, don't ignore me. If I text you, do not ignore me. Like,
right.
I know it hit your phone and I know you on your phone. Why did you not just respond? Like, especially when it has anything to do with business. And I
Yeah.
don't play about a couple things. I don't play about my family. I don't play about my money. So at the end of the day, if I'm speaking to you on a business tip because money is owed and you're not answering, I'm patient. I know how to be patient. But when you don't say nothing, nah, I'm not rolling. I don't. It don't. I cannot ride with it. You know what I mean?
You know
Because
what?
this is
I'm
my
just gonna be
livelihood.
honest. I had one that I was up like 4 o'clock in this morning. And another thing, when you was talking, I touch this every day. I'm either booking somebody, going over something. I touch this every day because I am serious about it. But I was up
Hmm
4 o'clock in the morning, and a person had reached back out to me because I was basically saying that I was interested in something they were doing. And so I was just like, yeah, I would love to do whatever. And it was like crickets. I didn't hear anything else back. And it's like, okay, I see what you're doing, and I'm very much interested in doing it, but that little communication you got going on with me is kind of making me say, I don't know.
And
So
I won't ask. I won't ask twice. I'm not gonna ask twice.
you know what?
Like,
To be honest, after the communication and come back to me the way that I think that you should on the profession, because I'm looking at the things that you're putting out there, and
hmm
it's nice, but just that little piece right there, it just made me say, okay, well,
Yep. Yep. And a lot of times, like when the business isn't done correctly, when the emails aren't sent out correctly, when everything is at a disarray, and just because you have a big following doesn't mean that you're marketable. A lot of people have big followers. A lot of people pay for followers. Like at the end of the day, what's your engagement like? What is are you presentable when you in these interviews? Do you have a media any style of media train? I kind of just media train myself. I used to host my own parties and I would be on the mic for my parties. I would just mix and do different things and try different things because I just never knew what it was going to be at the time. I just knew what I was doing then. But now, when it comes to interviews, interviews are easy. And the more that you do them, you just start understanding that, you know what, I am a little long winded. So, how do I condense that answer? And so, I
right.
started just training myself to understand and answer the question and then explain a little bit, just give people a little bit of that information and then go on to other things, right? Because as entertainers, as actors, people know we act, but they want to know who we are. What do we believe in? What kind of stuff do we like? Because at the end of the day, transparency is everything, right? A lot of people want to feel like they can be or they can be around you, or they can hang with you, or they can be with you. Like there's so many different nuances to people and to the industry because people fall in love with the character that you portray, but they want to know who you are.
Yes. I, oh, I know we got to wrap up, but I say that I know that in this style of interview, I'll have a story sometime, but it won't necessarily come out because the person won't necessarily say the things that I be wanting my audience to hear. So that's one of the things that I look at sometimes. So I always try to make sure that in each episode that I show some of my personality because again, the people that are watching, they want to know things about me. So I do. I share. I'm an open book right now. I'm just in a space. This is I'm on my self discovery. So I share things because I think that's what draws people in as well. I don't think nobody just want to, me to be stiff and not, have vulnerable moments and just kind of, share a little stuff with them. So I try to do that, but do it in a way
Absolutely.
where it's sincere.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. Well, okay. This went fast. So now it is time for our gratitude moment. And as always, I like to share on each episode a gratitude statement. And I am thankful for good health,
Mm.
both mental and physical. It is just so important to keep, as you said earlier, to work on your body in terms of not just so much in like how you want it to look, but just eating healthy and things like that too. And then also just being in your right mind and having a good mental. I am so thankful for that, and
Mm,
that's what I have.
that's it.
Would you like to tell us what you are thankful for?
I am thankful for, like you. I want to say what you were saying. A sound mind. I feel like right now I'm exactly where I need to be. We all do it. We all second guess ourselves. We all try to figure it out because it doesn't seem that clear, But I'm a firm believer in God. I'm a firm believer in destiny, and I'm a firm believer in vision. One of the main things I say a lot is vision chasing, and a lot of time you hear dream chasing, but dreams come and go. But the vision is so big, and it takes steps to get your ultimate vision. So we're vision chasing, and 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 sometimes you go through a time of none of this makes sense, but I'm being obedient. None of it makes sense, but I'm being obedient. I'm moving how you tell me to move. I'm tithing how you tell me to tithe. I'm praying how you telling me to pray. I'm helping how you telling me to help. But none of it's making sense. Nothing is going right. It seems like every time I'm trying to move forward, it's two steps back. And it could be hard to keep a sound mind, but I'm grateful for having a sound mind because all of the things now people that I wanted people to see, they are starting to see. They're starting to see that this guy is pretty good. This guy has it. This guy is a workhorse. This guy is this. And I wasn't doing it to get their attention just because I want their attention. I'm doing it so that I create a career, provide for my family. You know what I mean? And understanding my why. My why has changed so many different times, but my why now is my daughter. That's the only why I need. And then of course self fulfillment within my craft and continuously growing within my craft. Those things, that's not going to change like that. But my daughter changed everything when she touched down. So the biggest thing now is just having a sound mind of being the best that I can be, the best actor I can be, the best support that I can be, um, and the best servant I can be. How can I serve others? How can I help others in any capacity? And so with that sound mind, I'm definitely just grateful for sound mind and discernment.
Awesome. I just want to say this, piggyback off of that. That's how I got these interviews because I had no idea, when I landed three actors right in a row. I was just out there because somebody was like, I'm looking to be interviewed. And I was like, oh, I'll do it. Didn't even know who I was getting ready to meet. And so, but it was just that servant. I was just like, sure. And I even found my business partner like that because someone needed help. And I was like, oh, I'll help you. I know how to do this. And found a fantastic business partner that in turn she writes all of my stuff in terms of like wording. I'll write something some way and she'll redo it, so it's just but when you have that serving spirit and you're not just thinking about what you can get from somebody else, I just think it just opens up a lot of things for you because you're not trying to get, you're giving.
Yeah, because I know my greatness. A lot of times people be so scared to help other people is because they think that it'll take away from them, but you can't take away from you can't even do what I do. I can't do what you do. But
Right.
I know that if I'm not right for this opportunity, you might be right for this opportunity. So I'm gonna share it with you. If I know I'm not going for an opportunity, even if I was going for an opportunity, I'm gonna still share it because at the end of the day, they're gonna pick the best person that fits that role. That doesn't define your greatness. That doesn't define how good you are, right? A lot of people move from a space of scarcity. I move from a space of abundance.
I love that. You know what? Let me say this, and I know we got to. I have said that twice, but when we did our other interview, that's what made me share the information that I shared with you and wanted to connect you with someone else because I saw it. I saw that you had that just that energy and that like yeah, I could just tell it from you vibrating so high and I can tell it from yesterday and even to today you're still doing it, but what you're saying to me is what I already picked up yesterday when we had our initial and I just knew. I was like, man, he is destined for greatness. I could just tell it, how you're moving and I love it. But we will definitely go ahead and wrap up so I can get to my next thing. I got something else right after this.
Absolutely.
You know what? I have enjoyed you. I really have. Thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing your story.
It was
Um,
really no problem at all. Thank you for having me.
oh, absolutely. And you kind of touched on my little closing the way that I said. But I do. I hope that this conversation encourages personal growth by discovering the why behind the work of these extraordinary minds. I challenge our listeners to explore self discovery. It's a great tool. Tyrone, tell everybody again, because you was working yourself in, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna do that later, but here we go. So go ahead and tell the listeners again how they can support and follow you on social media.
Absolutely. So on social media, you can follow me on IG at Tyrone Betters. It's just one word, Tyrone Betters. In the bio it is a link tree that goes to all of my information, all of my other socials, all of my current work that's out. I do have a few projects that's getting ready to come through. I did speak on Code. We just wrapped on that. That's supposed to be coming around October, December, maybe at the top of the year. I have another film called Dirt that's going to be coming at the top of the year. October, we have Perk 30 dropping. Shout out to Elmore Vision. Then right, and I have three films with them. So we have Perk 30, Guns Down, and then we have Everybody Hates Christmas. We just shot a pilot for a series called Secrets and Yards. And we're looking to see if it's going to come in fall 23, if not at the top of 24. I have to film on another series called Bounty. I have a cameo appearance on there. That's coming up August 11th. No, yep, August 11th. I'll be filming on Bounty, and I'm actually booked for a commercial tomorrow. So
Look at you.
it's a lot of good work on the way. Stay engaged, stay tuned, follow, DM, reach out. Let's connect. I'm always looking to connect. Most of the time, I follow back, especially if you're active on your pages. And yeah, I'm so glad, and I can't wait for you to be a part of my journey.
Absolutely. I love it. All right. Well, guys, you can follow me on TikTok and Facebook as Tot Carter, on IG as Ivy Tot 10, and Talking with Tot. I'm sorry. So yeah, this brings us to the end of our episode, and I really enjoyed our show, and also too for the people out there watching that enjoyed this show as well as we did doing it. Please go out there, subscribe, like, rate, comment, do it all. Until next time, this is the one and only Tot Carter, a podcast that reveals how extraordinary people find their purpose. Do you know what your purpose is? I suggest just going out there, doing some self discovery, and just finding out what it is that you like so that you too can find your purpose in life.
Mm.
Goodbye, y'all.
Good.